Love is one of the most powerful forces in human existence. It is stronger than fear, deeper than pain, and more transformative than any external achievement. Every person on this planet is searching for something, chasing something, trying to become something. But beneath every goal, every ambition, every dream, there is a deeper desire, the desire to love and to be loved. Think about it for a moment. Why do people work so hard? Why do they sacrifice, struggle, and push through challenges? Often it is because they want to create a better life for the people they care about. Love is the invisible force behind countless actions. It inspires courage in moments of uncertainty. It creates hope when everything seems impossible. It gives meaning to experiences that would otherwise feel empty. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships, and the quality of your relationships is determined by the amount of love you are willing to give. Many people spend years waiting for love to arrive. They wait for the perfect person, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect moment. But love is not something you simply find. Love is something you create. It is something you practice. It is something you become. The greatest mistake people make is believing that love is merely a feeling. Feelings come and go. Emotions rise and fall. But true love is much more than an emotion. It is a decision. It is a commitment. It is choosing understanding over judgment. It is choosing patience over frustration. It is choosing connection over distance. When you understand this, your relationships begin to change because you stop depending on temporary emotions and start building something lasting. Love has the power to heal wounds that logic cannot touch. A person can carry pain for years, hiding it behind success, confidence, or achievement. Yet one genuine act of love can begin to break down walls that have existed for decades. People are not transformed by criticism. They are transformed by connection. They grow when they feel seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. Every human being has a deep need to matter. People want to know that their presence makes a difference. They want to know they are important to someone. Love fulfills that need in a way that money, status, and possessions never can. You can have all the success in the world, but if you feel disconnected from others, there will always be something missing. Real fulfillment comes from meaningful connections with the people around you. One of the most powerful forms of love is self-love. Many people misunderstand this concept. They think self-love means arrogance or selfishness. In reality, self-love is acceptance. It is recognizing your value even when you make mistakes. It is treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer to someone you deeply care about. When you constantly criticize yourself, you weaken your spirit. When you learn to appreciate yourself, you create a foundation of strength and confidence. You cannot consistently give what you do not possess. If you are filled with anger, you will spread anger. If you are filled with fear, you will spread fear. But when you cultivate love within yourself, that love naturally flows into your relationships, your work, your family, and every interaction you have. The world often changes when individuals decide to change what they carry inside. Love also requires vulnerability. It requires courage. It is easy to protect yourself from disappointment by building walls around your heart. It is easy to avoid risks and remain emotionally distant. But every wall you build to keep pain out also keeps love out. The strongest people are not those who never get hurt. The strongest people are those who continue to love despite being hurt. They refuse to let disappointment turn them bitter. They choose growth instead of resentment. Relationships thrive when appreciation becomes a habit. People often focus on what is missing rather than what is present. They notice flaws instead of strengths. They complain instead of expressing gratitude, yet appreciation has extraordinary power. When people feel appreciated, they become more confident, more motivated, and more connected. A simple expression of gratitude can strengthen a relationship more than you realize. Love is not measured by grand gestures alone. It is revealed in daily actions. It is shown in listening when someone needs to talk. It is shown in supporting someone during difficult times. It is shown in forgiveness when mistakes are made. Small moments repeated consistently create extraordinary relationships. The little things often become the big things. The world needs more love, but that change does not begin somewhere far away. It begins with individual choices made every day. It begins with choosing kindness when anger feels easier. It begins with choosing understanding when judgment feels justified. It begins with choosing connection when separation feels comfortable. Every act of love creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you can see. Love gives life meaning. It gives challenges purpose. It gives success significance. It turns ordinary moments into unforgettable memories. It reminds us that our greatest achievements will never be the awards we collect or the wealth we accumulate. Our greatest achievements will always be the lives we touch, the hearts we inspire, and the love we leave behind. Love is one of the greatest forces that exists in the human experience. It has inspired people to achieve the impossible, overcome tremendous hardships, and create extraordinary lives. Throughout history, people have been driven by many things. wealth, power, recognition, and success. But none of these motivations have had the lasting impact that love has. Love reaches beyond logic and speaks directly to the deepest part of who we are. It influences our decisions, shapes our relationships, and gives meaning to our journey through life. Every person, regardless of their background, culture, or circumstances, desires connection. Deep within every human being is a need to belong, to feel valued, and to know that they matter. Love fulfills this need in a way that nothing else can. It creates bonds between people that are stronger than challenges and more powerful than obstacles. It allows individuals to find strength when they feel weak and hope when they feel discouraged. Think about the moments in life that have had the greatest impact on you. Chances are they were not connected to material possessions or financial achievements. The moments that stay with us are often those filled with genuine connection, a kind word when we needed encouragement, a helping hand during a difficult season, a person who believed in us when we doubted ourselves. These moments are powerful because they are expressions of love. They remind us that we are not alone and that someone cares about our well-being. Love also has the unique ability to bring out the best in people. When individuals feel loved and appreciated, they become more confident, more resilient, and more willing to take positive risks. Love creates an environment where growth becomes possible. It gives people the courage to step beyond their fears and pursue their dreams. Many individuals have achieved remarkable things because someone believed in them and supported them along the way. At the same time, love is not limited to romantic relationships. It exists in friendships, family bonds, mentorships, and acts of compassion between strangers. Love is present whenever people choose kindness over indifference, understanding over judgment, and generosity over selfishness. It is reflected in the sacrifices parents make for their children, the loyalty of true friends, and the compassion shown during difficult times. These everyday expressions of love often have a greater impact than dramatic gestures. One of the remarkable qualities of love is its ability to multiply. Unlike material possessions that diminish when shared, love grows stronger when it is given away. The more kindness, compassion, and encouragement you offer to others, the more those qualities expand within your own life. Love creates a ripple effect. A single act of care can inspire another act of care, creating positive change that extends far beyond what anyone can see. Love also provides meaning during life's challenges. Difficulties are inevitable, but love gives people a reason to keep moving forward. It reminds them of what truly matters and helps them endure hardships with greater strength. When people are connected to something larger than themselves, they can face adversity with determination and courage. Love transforms struggles into opportunities for growth and gives purpose to even the most difficult experiences. Many people spend their lives believing that love is simply a feeling. They think love is something that happens to them, something they either experience or lose depending on circumstances. When emotions are strong, they believe they are in love. When emotions fade, they assume love has disappeared, but this understanding is incomplete. Real love is much more than an emotion. It is a choice that is made repeatedly, day after day, regardless of changing feelings or situations. Feelings are powerful, but they are also temporary. They can change from one moment to the next. There are days when people feel excited, inspired, and deeply connected, and there are days when they feel frustrated, tired, or overwhelmed. If love depended entirely on emotions, no relationship would survive life's inevitable challenges. Lasting love requires something stronger than feelings. It requires commitment, intention, and conscious action. Choosing love means deciding how you will respond when situations become difficult. It means showing patience when impatience would be easier. It means listening when you would rather argue. It means seeking understanding when misunderstandings arise. These moments define the true nature of love because they reveal whether someone is willing to act with care even when it is inconvenient. Anyone can express love when everything is going well. The real test comes when circumstances become challenging. Relationships often struggle because people focus too much on what they are receiving and too little on what they are giving. They ask themselves whether they feel appreciated, respected, or understood. While these needs are important, the most powerful relationships are built when individuals also ask what they can contribute. Love grows when people actively choose to support, encourage, and uplift one another. It becomes stronger when giving replaces keeping score. Choosing love also means accepting that no person is perfect. Every individual has flaws, weaknesses, and moments of failure. Unrealistic expectations can damage relationships because they create constant disappointment. When people choose love, they recognize imperfections without allowing those imperfections to define the relationship. They focus on understanding rather than constant criticism. This does not mean ignoring problems, but it means approaching challenges with compassion rather than judgment. Forgiveness is another powerful expression of love as a choice. Every meaningful relationship will experience mistakes, misunderstandings, and moments of hurt. Holding on to resentment may feel justified, but it creates distance and prevents healing. Choosing love often means choosing forgiveness. It means refusing to allow past pain to control the future. Forgiveness does not erase what happened, but it creates space for growth, learning, and renewed connection. Love as a choice also requires consistency. Small actions performed repeatedly have a greater impact than occasional grand gestures. A kind word, a moment of genuine attention, a thoughtful act of support, or a simple expression of gratitude can strengthen a relationship over time. These daily choices build trust and create emotional security. They demonstrate that love is not merely spoken, but actively practiced. The strongest relationships are not built on perfect circumstances. They are built on two people repeatedly choosing love even when life becomes complicated. They understand that emotions will rise and fall, but commitment provides stability. They know that love is not defined by a single moment of passion, but by thousands of daily decisions to care, support, respect, and value one another. When people embrace this understanding, love becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a force capable of enduring challenges, deepening connections, and creating relationships that stand the test of time. One of the most extraordinary qualities of love is its ability to heal. While medicine can help heal the body and knowledge can help solve problems, love has the power to heal emotional wounds that often remain hidden from the world. Every person carries experiences that have shaped them. Some of those experiences bring joy and confidence, while others leave behind pain, disappointment, fear, or insecurity. These invisible wounds can affect the way people think, act, and relate to others. Yet love has a remarkable ability to reach places that no other force can touch. Many people spend years building emotional walls around themselves. They do this because they have been hurt before. Perhaps they experience rejection, betrayal, criticism, or loss. To protect themselves from future pain, they become guarded and distant. They stop trusting easily. They avoid vulnerability and convince themselves that independence is safer than connection. While these walls may provide temporary protection, they often create loneliness and prevent genuine relationships from developing. Love has the unique ability to slowly break down those walls and remind people that connection is worth the risk. Human beings are not designed to go through life alone. Every person has a deep desire to be understood, valued, and accepted. When people feel truly seen and heard, something powerful happens within them. They begin to believe in their own worth. They gain confidence to face challenges. They become more open, more hopeful, and more resilient. This is because genuine connection satisfies one of the most fundamental human needs, the need to belong. Love creates an environment where healing becomes possible. When someone knows they are accepted despite their flaws and imperfections, they no longer feel the need to hide who they are. They can be authentic. They can express their fears, share their struggles, and reveal their true selves without fear of constant judgment. This level of acceptance is incredibly powerful because it allows emotional wounds to surface and heal rather than remain buried beneath years of silence. The healing power of love is often seen during life's most difficult moments. When people face loss, failure, or hardship, they frequently discover that support from others becomes their greatest source of strength. Encouraging words, acts of kindness, and simple companionship can provide comfort during times when solutions seem impossible. Knowing that someone genuinely cares can transform despair into hope. It reminds individuals that they do not have to carry their burdens alone. Love also has the power to change how people see themselves. Many individuals struggle with self-doubt because they have spent years focusing on their weaknesses and mistakes. They believe negative stories about who they are and what they are capable of achieving. When someone genuinely loves and believes in them, those limiting beliefs begin to weaken. Encouragement can inspire confidence. Support can inspire action. Acceptance can inspire personal growth. Sometimes one person's belief in another can completely change the direction of a life. Connection strengthens emotional resilience as well. People who have strong, loving relationships are often better equipped to handle stress and adversity. They know they have a support system they can rely on during difficult times. This sense of connection creates stability and security. It reminds them that challenges are temporary and that they do not have to face them alone. Love does not erase pain instantly, nor does it remove every difficulty from life. However, it provides the strength needed to move through hardship with courage and hope. It helps people find meaning during struggles, discover strength they never knew they possessed, and rebuild after setbacks. Through understanding compassion, acceptance, and connection, love becomes one of the most powerful healing forces available to humanity. One of the most important relationships you will ever have is the relationship you have with yourself. Yet for many people, this is also the relationship that receives the least attention. Individuals often spend years encouraging others, supporting others, and showing compassion to others while being incredibly harsh toward themselves. They become their own toughest critics, constantly focusing on mistakes, failures, and shortcomings. Over time, this pattern creates self-doubt, insecurity, and a belief that they are somehow not enough. This is why self-love and self-acceptance are so important. They form the foundation upon which confidence, happiness, and personal growth are built. Self-love is often misunderstood. Some people believe it means putting yourself above everyone else or becoming self-centered. In reality, self-love is about recognizing your value as a human being. It is understanding that your worth is not determined by your achievements, your income, your appearance, or the opinions of others. Your value exists simply because you are a unique individual with strengths, talents, and the ability to make a positive impact on the world. Many people tie their self-worth to external circumstances. They believe they will finally be happy when they achieve a certain goal, earn more money, gain recognition, or receive approval from others. The problem with this approach is that it places happiness and self-respect outside of their control. No matter how much success they achieve, they continue searching for validation because they have never learned to appreciate themselves from within. True self-love begins when you stop waiting for external proof of your worth and start recognizing it for yourself. Self-acceptance does not mean pretending you are perfect. In fact, it requires acknowledging both your strengths and your weaknesses honestly. Every person makes mistakes. Every person experiences setbacks. Every person has flaws. Self-acceptance means understanding that these imperfections do not diminish your value. It means refusing to define yourself by your worst moments. Instead of seeing mistakes as evidence of failure, you begin to see them as opportunities to learn and grow. The way you speak to yourself matters more than many people realize. Your internal dialogue shapes your confidence, your decisions, and your actions. If you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, unworthy, or destined to fail, those beliefs begin to influence your behavior. On the other hand, when you practice self-respect and encouragement, you create a mindset that supports growth and resilience. Self-love involves replacing destructive self-criticism with constructive self-awareness. It means holding yourself accountable without attacking your own worth. When people develop genuine self-love, they become less dependent on the approval of others. They stop constantly comparing themselves to those around them. They recognize that every individual has a unique journey and that comparison only distracts them from their own potential. Instead of measuring their success against someone else's achievements, they focus on becoming the best version of themselves. Self-love also affects every other relationship in life. The way you treat yourself often becomes the standard for how others treat you. When you respect yourself, you establish healthy boundaries. You become more willing to walk away from situations that diminish your well-being. You stop settling for relationships built on disrespect or negativity. At the same time, you become more capable of giving genuine love to others because you are no longer trying to fill an emotional void through external validation. The strongest people are not those who never experience self-doubt. They are the ones who choose to believe in their value despite challenges and imperfections. They understand that growth is a lifelong process and that becoming better does not require rejecting who they are today. Through self-love and self-acceptance, they build the confidence to pursue their dreams, overcome obstacles, and create a life that reflects their true potential. Love requires courage in a way that many people never fully realize. It is easy to love when there is no risk involved, when everything feels safe and predictable, and when there is little chance of disappointment. The real challenge begins when love asks us to become vulnerable. Vulnerability means allowing another person to see who we truly are, including our fears, insecurities, hopes, and dreams. It means removing the mask that we often wear to protect ourselves and choosing authenticity instead of emotional distance. Many people spend years guarding their hearts because they have experienced pain in the past. They have faced rejection, betrayal, loss, or disappointment, and those experiences have left emotional scars. As a result, they become cautious about trusting others. They convince themselves that staying emotionally distant will protect them from future hurt. While this approach may reduce certain risks, it also limits the possibility of experiencing deep and meaningful connections. The walls built to keep pain out often keep love out as well. Vulnerability is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the greatest forms of strength. It takes courage to tell someone how you truly feel. It takes courage to share your struggles, admit your mistakes, and reveal parts of yourself that others may judge. Anyone can hide behind a carefully constructed image of perfection. It takes a strong person to be authentic. Genuine relationships are built on this authenticity because trust can only develop when people are willing to be honest with one another. Fear often becomes the greatest obstacle to love. People fear rejection. They fear being misunderstood. They fear giving their heart to someone who may not value it. These fears are natural because every meaningful relationship involves uncertainty. However, allowing fear to control your decisions can prevent you from experiencing some of life's most rewarding moments. Growth rarely happens inside a comfort zone, just as achieving a dream requires taking risks. Experiencing deep love requires stepping beyond fear and embracing vulnerability. Courage in love also means remaining open after disappointment. One of the most remarkable qualities of resilient people is their ability to continue believing in connection even after they have been hurt. They refuse to let negative experiences define their future. They understand that one painful chapter does not determine the rest of the story. Instead of becoming bitter, they choose to learn, grow, and move forward with wisdom. This decision requires tremendous strength because it means refusing to allow past pain to destroy future possibilities. Another aspect of courage in love is the willingness to communicate honestly. Many relationships suffer not because people lack feelings for one another, but because they are afraid to express those feelings openly. They avoid difficult conversations, suppress emotions, and hope problems will disappear on their own. True courage involves speaking honestly while remaining respectful. It involves expressing needs, sharing concerns, and creating space for understanding. Honest communication strengthens relationships because it builds trust and prevents misunderstandings from growing into larger issues. Love also demands the courage to forgive. Holding on to resentment can feel easier than letting go. It can feel safer to remain angry than to risk being hurt again. Yet forgiveness requires strength because it involves releasing the emotional weight of past experiences. It does not mean approving harmful behavior or forgetting what happened. It means choosing freedom over bitterness and growth over emotional imprisonment. The strongest relationships are not those that avoid challenges. They are the ones where individuals repeatedly choose courage over fear. They choose openness over isolation, trust over suspicion, and hope over doubt. Through vulnerability and courage, people create deeper connections, stronger bonds, and richer experiences. They discover that while vulnerability may involve risk, it is also the doorway to genuine love, meaningful relationships, and a more fulfilling life. As we reflect on the true meaning of love, we begin to understand that it is far more than an emotion. It is a force that shapes our lives, transforms our relationships, and gives purpose to our existence. Love inspires us to become better than we were yesterday. It encourages us to see the best in others while discovering the best within ourselves. It teaches us that real strength is found not in power or control, but in compassion, understanding, and connection. The quality of our lives will never be determined solely by what we achieve, accumulate, or accomplish. It will be determined by how deeply we connect, how genuinely we care, and how courageously we choose to love. Every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, every word of encouragement, and every expression of gratitude has the power to change a life. Often, the smallest acts of love create the greatest impact. There will be moments when love requires patience, moments when it requires courage, and moments when it asks us to open our hearts despite fear and uncertainty. Those are the moments that define us. Those are the moments that reveal our character and remind us of what truly matters. Love is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about showing up, caring deeply, and choosing connection even when it is difficult. Never underestimate the power of a loving heart. A single person who chooses love over fear, understanding over judgment, and hope over doubt can influence countless lives. The world changes when people decide to love more generously, listen more deeply, and appreciate one another more sincerely. Every day presents an opportunity to create that change. So choose love. Choose it in your words, your actions, your relationships, and your decisions. Choose to love yourself enough to believe in your potential. Choose to love others enough to support their growth. Choose to love life enough to embrace every lesson, challenge, and opportunity it brings. When you do, you will discover that love is not only the greatest gift you can receive, it is also the greatest gift you can give.